Go ahead, Kathy.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence of the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone regardless of religious or non-religious background and allow for open dialogue. Attendance today at the Helping Parents Heal meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally.
Thank you so much. And I just want to let everybody know, I didn't even realize this, but Mark is willing to do some readings, as well as talking a bit and then answering questions. So this is very exciting, and I just want to let you know that when he's speaking, if you could possibly put any questions that you have for him in the chat box, and you'll know a little bit more about him when I do his introduction. It's not going to be as long as his whole bio, but I'll have the whole bio on the YouTube video when I post it. He's amazing. There aren't very many people in this afterlife, in this community who are like Mark Anthony. He's called the psychic lawyer. He's also called the psychic explorer, and he's the author of the spiritual bestsellers, Evidence of Eternity and Never Letting Go. Mark Anthony's credentials and experience are unparalleled in the paranormal world. He is an Oxford-educated trial attorney, licensed to practice law in Florida, Washington, D.C., and before the United States Supreme Court, which is incredible. In England, he studied mediumship at the prestigious Arthur Findlay College for the Advancement of Psychic Science. Dr. Gary Schwartz, professor of psychology, medicine, neurology, psychiatry, and surgery at the University of Arizona, and director of the Laboratory for Advances in Consciousness and Health, who also spoke at our first Helping Parents Heal conference in Scottsdale, has ranked Mark as one of the top mediums in the United States. Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, is the media's go-to guy when the paranormal and legal system collide. He appears regularly on television as a legal analyst, psychic medium, and expert on the paranormal, after-death communication, and near-death experiences. He has done so much in his short life, and as I say, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the YouTube video that we'll be posting. But without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's really an honor to be here, and I want to especially thank you, Elizabeth and Irene and Kathy. Kathy, I want to say that what you read about the mission statement of Helping Parents Heal is so parallel to the work that I do, because what I found is that spirit communication is an important therapeutic step in the journey through grief. But as Kathy pointed out in your mission statement, it isn't a substitute for grief counseling, for turning to your faith community, for turning to your friends and family, and for actually embracing and experiencing your grief. Spirit communication is part of a comprehensive and overall approach, because as all of you painfully are aware, there's no Harry Potter magic wand that we can wave and suddenly feel better and take the pain away. grief is a road everyone must take, that no one wants to take, but unfortunately we get shoved down it at some point in our lives. And so it is such an honor to be able to speak to all of you. I love working with Helping Parents Heal because it is such an enlightened organization. There are so many people who reject spirit communication for various reasons. Either they're closed-minded cynics, or they're wallowing in some type of primitive belief system that looks at it as negative. And I believe that spirituality and science are not mutually exclusive, and that now with the advent of quantum physics, we're bridging the gap between spirituality and science, and that none of this is hocus pocus or magic, that it's all based on sound scientific principles. Anyway, that's part of what I discuss in my books. But once again, Elizabeth, thank you so much for hosting this event.
I feel so grateful to be able to have you speaking here, Mark. And one of the things that everyone loves about listening to you speak is that you provide proof for people who are more skeptical or maybe on the fence about the reason that all of these things that we talk about in Helping Parents Heal are actually a reality. And I appreciate that so much. And I also think it is wonderful that you work with Dr. Gary Schwartz, who's also fascinating to listen to when he talks about science and the afterlife colliding, and quantum physics, and all of these different things that are just so important for a lot of, it's interesting because we had Janet Nohavik, who was on here a couple nights ago, and she was talking about why, she was a Catholic nun, and now she is a medium, and why those things are very compatible for her. For you, you're an attorney. You're also, you've done all of these amazing things in your life, and at the same time, you are a psychic medium and one of the best in the world. So it's just such a huge opportunity for us to be able to hear you speak and to understand exactly why this is not only something that is just, it makes us feel good, but it's also true.
Well, I appreciate that, Elizabeth. And I want to put a couple questions out to everybody in the chat room. A lot of people come up to me and they say, well, I wish I was a medium. And to which I say, do you really? Okay, because, with everything there comes a price. However, here's the questions I want to ask. How many people in the chat room have felt your loved one around you, felt the presence of your loved one? Okay. How many of you have had a dream where you had a conversation with, it could be your child or other family members, and it felt real? It wasn't that surrealistic nonsense, of dreams where, like, it's suddenly a toaster turns into an elephant, but you have a discussion with your loved one. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. How many of you have maybe been driving in your car and suddenly felt compelled to turn on your radio, and there's that song that makes you think of your loved one? What about all of a sudden you smell a familiar scent that is associated with someone you love who's died, but there's no source for it around? The fact is that these experiences are real. These are what I call in my book, Evidence of Eternity, frequency beacons. And think of everyone that both on this side and the other side, being connected in a giant three-dimensional spider web. Now let's take the spider out of it because spiders are creepy. But the thing about a spider web is it functions on vibration. And so the reason a spider knows something is in the web is because something hits it, it sends a vibration. The reason I use this analogy is, let's say that you're grieving very, very heavily. Well, you are sending out a vibration along that link, and a spirit picks up on it, and it will draw him or her to you. Conversely, All of a sudden you turn on the radio and there's that song that makes you think of your child. Well, frequency beacons work two ways. So a spirit can send that vibration to you and plant a suggestion or compel you to do something. For example, people say, every time I see a butterfly, I think of my daughter. Well, your daughter did not turn into a butterfly, but a spirit can direct your attention to a butterfly. They can also direct something like a butterfly into your field of view. And then when you see the butterfly and you think about it, that's because the spirit's eliciting an electromagnetic impulse, which goes into your brain and gets converted into that feeling. And so even though not everybody is a medium, everybody is capable of having a mediumistic experience. Because a lot of people say, well, I wish I was a medium. Well, I wish I was an Olympic athlete, and I wish that I could swim like Michael Phelps and win 20 gold medals. The fact is, we're simply all good at different things. Some people are better mathematicians, some are better musicians, some are simply better parents and listeners. We all have a variety of skills, and some people are simply better at being mediums, and there's physiological reasons for that. So just because you may not be a medium, don't think that doesn't mean that you cannot receive messages from your children, from your loved ones in spirit.
That's exactly true. And I think that one of the things that distinguishes us from a lot of other groups is that we concentrate on learning how to communicate with our kids. And it's always wonderful to be able to have the help of mediums like you, and being able to know that this is real, and listening to you speak, and seeing different readings that you do and other mediums do allows us to be able to realize this isn't difficult. It might not be something that we were born into, but it is something that can be learned. And it is wonderful to be able to open up to the idea of having a constant conversation with our kids, being able to speak to them every day.
Well, and certainly, and a lot of people say, well, am I holding them back? No, you're not, because spirits are pure energy. We know from quantum physics, from the law of thermodynamics, that energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transferred from one form to another. Consciousness, our soul, in the realm of psychology, neurobiology, and philosophy, we call the soul or the spirit your consciousness, but we're talking about the same thing. That's the energy that makes us alive, who and what we are. And the brain no more creates the consciousness than a light bulb creates the electricity that goes through it and makes it illuminate. So that when we die, think of your brain as a computer hard drive. And so when your hard drive crashes, the programs that are on the hard drive, which is your soul, they get transferred to a higher frequency. And so spirits are able to, and that consciousness, that soul remains coherent, and the intelligence, personality stay intact. And I like to analogize the soul to a drop of water, that when it leaves the computer hard drive / soul, and it leaves that, it plunges into the eternal sea of consciousness, which I refer to as the collective consciousness. And then spirits, being pure energy, are now linked to other spirits that are linked to other spirits that are linked to other spirits. It's what Edgar Cayce called the universal mind. I call it the collective consciousness, but we're talking about the same thing. And even though the spirits are interconnected, you still maintain your individuality. And I believe after over 15,000 readings and communicating with hundreds of thousands of spirits, that the true gift God has given all of us is our individuality, and that spirits can disconnect from the collective to communicate with us. So you're not holding them back because you're grieving. Who we're holding back is ourselves. And I certainly never tell anyone to get over it. because you don't get over it. And that's why my first book, I entitled it Never Letting Go, because you never get over the death of a loved one. But what you have to work at is letting go of the sadness and the anguish that is associated with that person's death. But hold on to the love. Never let go of the love. And that's where I differ with a lot of people in the field of psychology and counseling, where they say, well, you have to let go. No, you don't. What you need to let go is what makes you feel miserable, the regrets, the guilt. All right, all of you being parents. Now, parents all feel that I bet everybody there wishes that they had superpowers and they could have swooped in at the last moment and saved their child's life. I mean, who here doesn't feel that way? I mean, I even feel that way about people that I love who died. But the truth of the matter is, especially with parents, you feel guilt, remorse, and pain that why couldn't I have changed things? And you couldn't, you can't. And that's why you're holding yourself back. And so spirit communication is an important step in the journey through grief, because it helps you understand that your relationship with your loved one, with your child, has gone from one of a physical nature to one of a spiritual nature. And I've encountered several people. They'll have a reading with me, and then they'll call me the next week. They want another reading. They want another reading. And I won't do that. I tell people wait 4 to 6 months in between. And the reason for that is some people are trying to substitute the contact with their child through a medium for the physicality of their child's presence. And that's an unhealthy state to be in, because you're not accepting the reality of the death. And once you accept the reality of the death, then you'll get to the point where you realize that you still do have a relationship with your child, but it is now one which is spiritual. Because going to a medium or several mediums in a close proximity of time, okay, let's say you want to go to me and then several other people all within a 2-week period. I certainly understand why people want to do that. But I've had people say, well, I went to 3 different mediums. They all told me pretty much the same thing. Exactly. Because what's going on is the collective consciousness, your loved one in spirit, is transmitting to you the messages that you need at this point in your life. And that's why I recommend waiting 4 to 6 months, because at that point in your life, you have evolved, you've grown, you've progressed through your grief, and that's at that time, you'll then be receiving messages which are relevant to you then. So just duplicating and receiving the same messages over and over isn't helping you. I hope does that make sense, Elizabeth?
Yes, it does. And actually, kind of feeding into that, Rosemary is asking, does mood, grief affect your connection? Should you wait until you have a numb day to connect? And is it best to tell them a day or two before that you intend to connect in order to improve the connection?
That's an excellent question. When somebody, there's Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, I'm a big fan of hers, wrote about the stages of grief, but there's 2 phases of grief, which is shock and trauma. Shock is what happens immediately when you find out and right after the death. It's that you can't eat, you can't sleep, you feel like you're in a fog and you're watching your life like you're outside of your body and you're going through the motions. It's absolutely horrible. But the thing about shock is it starts to fade, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month, but then the trauma sets in. And trauma is what we live with for the rest of our lives. And so particularly in my books and on my website, I recommend that people wait about 6 months, 4 to 6 months after the death for reading. But a lot of people are like, well, I want a reading right now. Okay, if your child died 2 days ago and you want a reading and you're hysterically crying and you're in shock, what are you going to get out of it? Okay, and the reason that you want the reading is because you're clinging to the physicality. But if you're hysterical, you're out of your mind with grief, you're not being receptive, and also the negative emotions can actually create a block between you and the spirit. Whereas if you wait 4 to 6 months, you got to go through the initial shock and then start dealing with the trauma, and your emotions begin to stabilize. I'm not saying that you're happy. I'm saying that they begin to stabilize. That's when you're going to get more benefit from the spirit contact, because you're listening and you're able to focus, to connect the dots with all the messages that are being transmitted. And so that's very, very important. The other part of that question, I believe, is, should you wait till you're having a numb day, or not necessarily. Let's say you schedule a reading and it's coming up in a month and a half. And so the day before, I recommend, if you have to take prescription drugs, that's fine, but no recreational drugs or alcohol, because that lowers your brainwave frequency. Reason being, think of a reading like a triangle. You have the medium on one end, the client, that's you on the other, and the other side at the top. All three parties are necessary to this. So when I open up my brain to higher frequencies, spirits come forward. You're the one that brings them into the reading because they want to talk to you. So you got to have your brain waves, functioning at normal capacity. And then of course there's the other side, and they're transmitting information. And that's why if people are heavily medicated, or they've been drinking, or if you're in a state where you're like, no, and you start shooting everything down, you're creating a barrier. So it's best to go into a reading saying, I welcome my loved ones into the reading. Just be open. Today I did a reading, and a woman, she got really, really good information. A lot of it that she didn't want to hear, because it was about her health and diet and things like that. She didn't want to hear when her mother came through and said, knock it off with all the junk food, you're killing yourself. And even though she had gastric bypass surgery that they talked about, and she said, but I needed to hear this one thing. I said, okay. She told me what your blood type was, that you're anemic, that you're eating junk food, what you're doing, and that you should retire like you've been pondering. But you needed to hear your secret decoder ring message. And she started laughing. She goes, yeah, that I already knew. These other things I needed to hear. So when you go into a reading, make sure that you're open and receptive, and don't go in with, until I hear this one thing, it's not real. Because some people do that. And that's another form of what I call the no syndrome, where you start shooting everything down and creating these energetic blocks.
Well, we have so many people who are talking about the fact that they have had dream visitations, that they have their kids touching their hair, that they have their kids' perfume, that they've had a lot of experiences like the ones that you're talking about. Thomas J., I just want to mention, his daughter attends college in DC and hopes to be a humanitarian attorney when she's finished. I hope she follows a bit in your footsteps, which is beautiful. I think that's wonderful. You. And I also want to say, I know that you're available to maybe do some readings, and we do have a few other questions. Some of them are kind of specific, and I know that you wanted more of the general questions. Would you like to maybe start with some readings, or do you want to field more questions beforehand?
Let me open up the frequency and see what I get. Hold on one sec. I'm getting a female energy coming through, and I feel that she looks to me Caucasian. She looks like she could have been around 16. So she'd be like 14 to maybe 17. And what I'm getting with her, I'm feeling an impact sensation to my head. An impact sensation to my head indicates that this was a quick, unexpected passing. I am tasting a fair amount of blood. I'm sorry if I'm getting graphic, but this is how they transmit information to me. And I'm feeling that this was traumatic because of the massive impact that I'm feeling to my head. This came out of the blue. This was not a pre-existing illness. So this was a traumatic passing. And hold on, I'm getting that she had lighter colored hair, wasn't like real blonde, wasn't real dark. It was sort of like a lighter brown type of hair. And what I'm getting about her, she keeps showing me the image of a crab. Now, a crab can indicate maybe she, or who I'm have the message for, loves or hates eating shellfish or seafood or an iodine allergy. But I suspect this is an indicator of the Cancer time frame. And the Cancer time frame runs roughly from June 20th through July 20th. We just left Cancer. So what this indicates is a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to this spirit or to you or someone close to the two of you within the Cancer time frame. I'm going to hold position there. Do we have anyone where this resonates with them?
Not yet, but let's see. I'm just looking to see. So this is a girl who had an impact to the head, lighter.
Well, not necessarily impact to the head. When I get the impact to the head, what that means is a traumatic passing. And it feels like it was an accident. It feels very much like a car accident. And that's what I'm getting with her. The Cancer time frame. Remember, when I say births, deaths, anniversaries, or events, it doesn't necessarily mean with her. It could be with someone close to her.
Yes, we have someone. Sorry.
Okay,
Doris,
all right.
Doris Norwood is waving. I'm going to go ahead and unmute Doris, and maybe you can speak to her directly. Is that okay? I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best way to do it. Okay, hold on. Stand by. Doris, she's talking about you and magnets. Do you do something with magnets? I know a lot of people put magnets on their refrigerator, but she's showing you with magnets. Is there something with you? And I know I'm always talking about electromagnetic energy, but she's talking about you and and you're laughing. Okay, what is it, Doris?
I have magnets on refrigerator, and whenever I travel, I buy a magnet only to put them in a box and wonder why I bought them in the first place.
We have a winner. Okay, great. And see, when spirits do that, they give identifiers, not just about themselves, but about you as well. This is your daughter?
Actually, my granddaughter and daughter were killed by a drunk driver.
Okay.
So it was sudden, and it was around this same time frame that you're mentioning, Mark.
In the Cancer time frame. So your daughter and your granddaughter. Is it your
Yes.
granddaughter who was the one that was the teen?
Actually, she was 10, but she thought she was a teenager.
Okay, hold on. Interesting, because I keep getting the number 16, 16, 16. Now, that could be the 1st, the 6th, the 16th of any month, okay, unless the numbers 1, 6, or 16 could make sense to you in some other way. And if it doesn't resonate right away, my motto is, if you don't get it, don't sweat it. Okay.
Mark, it's perfect because Haley was born on January 6th.
Okay, 1-6. Very good. All right. So let's see what she wants you to know. She said, this is fascinating. You've really have learned to spread your wings when it comes to your spiritual evolution and development. And as crushing as their deaths were to you and continue to be so, it is amazing what they're telling me about you. They said that for the longest time, you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, except now you're carrying the weight for other people. People are looking up to you. And it feels as if you've started, I know you're part of this organization, but it's almost as if you've started some other type of encounter group, some type of support group for other people that they're telling me. Does this make any sense to you?
Yes, I've been involved with MAD for the last 14 of the 16 years. And
Okay.
as the support group leader.
As the support group leader, very good. You are getting accolades, kudos, big time from them. And do you know those cars, they're made in France, a Renault? We used to call them a Renault, but it's a Renault. Is a Renault or a Renault make sense to you? And it may not have anything to do with them. Could have been in your past. I know that's weird, but they're talking about these cars made in France, unless there's any connection with you or them with France, like a trip there or something about, but I'm getting a Renault.
Other than Elizabeth and having been in France a few times.
All right, so you've been to France a few times? Okay. Yeah, write down, it's Renault. Write that down. That's going to make sense to you at some point. Okay. All right, hold on. And round and round and round she goes. Where she stops and nobody knows. What's with you in the casinos?
Got it.
Anything with you in casinos?
No, but my daughter that was lost at the same time, her name was Wendy, loved to gamble.
Perfect.
At casinos,
At casinos,
cruise
right?
ship, wherever.
Cruise ship, wherever. Okay, because I'm seeing you with that. They go round and round. It's like a roulette wheel and all that. So that's an identifier about her. Let's see what she wants you to know. She goes, I like the shrine, Mom. I like the shrine. Okay. She's showing pictures, candles. She's talking about the shrine. Do you have like an area set up where there's a bunch of pictures or something? But I'm getting pictures and candles that she's talking about.
There's a shrine, yes.
Okay, she says she likes it. She goes, very sharp, Mom, very tasteful. And she says, you're always adjusting it. Okay, like you walk by and like, oh, this needs to be moved here, that needs to be moved there. And so what they want you to know is that they're around you, aware of what's happening in your life. I don't mean to laugh, but your daughter's saying you have the most organized closet in the world. Does that make sense to you?
I think she's thinking, I wish I had the most organized closet in the world. I tend to keep things.
Okay, but it doesn't seem like it's all jumbled together. It seems like it's pretty well categorized and organized.
It is organized. I just completed that task.
Well, there you go. And so you just completed that task. That's an indicator that they're around and aware of what's happening in your life. That's why they'll bring up things like that. And hold on. Chicken fricassee. What? Is there some type of like chicken that's sort of like, it's almost like a chicken marsala, but they're talking about you with a chicken dish. It's like a chicken fricassee. And it's like chicken in oh, you're laughing. What is that?
That's always what I order, chicken marsala, when I go to an Italian restaurant. That's my favorite.
Okay, well, she said, do you get it? Do you always want extra capers? She's talking about you and capers.
No. I usually push those to the side.
Okay, she's talking about the capers. Okay, so you push those aside. See, these are the type of things that spirits like to bring up as identifiers. So they're aware of your preferences, the food you eat, what's going on in your life. What I really love about the messages that I'm getting from your daughter and your granddaughter is that between you and them, there are no unresolved issues. You love them, they love you. And they absolutely know how crushing this has been to you, but they're also so impressed with how you've picked up the pieces of your life and actually reconstructed it. So that's what I'll leave with you.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. God bless you.
Beautiful, Mark. I just have to add that Doris is a board member of Helping Parents Heal. So she not only is, she didn't say anything about that. You don't know that she's a board member of Helping Parents Heal, but she is kind of in the background, but she helps us enormously. So thank you.
Yeah, the other part, Mark, she didn't tell you is I'm also an attorney and work with Helping Parents Heal in that regard.
There's the organization. You know, it's funny because it's like, I in my closet, like all my shirts are color coded, all my suits are color coded. I got to have this organization. And I learned actually, I remember in junior high school, I realized that organization is half the battle. And when you're an attorney, whether you like it or not, you got to be organized. So thank you.
So the one thing, Doris, how long ago was it that Wendy and Haley passed?
That what?
How long ago was it that Wendy and Haley passed?
Oh, in the spring of 2004.
That was 16 years ago.
But Mark, I want to say one more thing. In the beginning, when you said, wow, that was a very good mission statement, I thank you for that too.
Nicely done. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but I'm getting the spirits are cranking tonight. I'm getting a male energy coming through.
Thank you.
And what I'm getting, God bless you. What I'm getting is thinner male, kind of an olive complexion, dark hair, and I'm getting what I call a draining sensation flowing through my body. Now, a draining sensation indicates to me that he was quite ill for some time, and I'm feeling a lot of pain in my legs, my hips, my bones. and I feel very frail. This very well could be, this is one of those diseases, when I call it draining, it could be tuberculosis, could be cancer, could be HIV, but it sucks the life energy, the life force out of you. And he really did his best to put up a fight with this. He could have been in his 20s, possibly his 30s, because he's showing me what he looked like prior to passing, and he was in an emaciated state. I'm tasting a lot of blood, so obviously there was some issue with the blood. I know HIV is a infection of the blood, but it could also be a cancer of the blood, like a leukemia. And a poor guy, getting the pounding head. I feel hot and feverish. And he was very heavily medicated toward the end, but he does want you to know that he was aware of what was happening in his life. So let me hold position here. Does that make sense?
Yes, we have Rose, who says that her son, when he had cancer and chemo, made him weak and in pain for years. And he was in an emaciated state before he passed. He was 39.
Okay. All right, let's put Rose up here.
Okay, Rose is right here. I'm going to go ahead and unmute her. Let's see. Can you unmute Rose? Got it. Okay.
You can get that one.
Hey, Rose. Hey, Rose, what your son showed me, he was real good looking, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember the movie star, and I hate to say this, but Anthony Perkins, who was in Psycho? Okay, and I'm not saying that your son was a psycho. What I'm saying is he kind of reminds me of the actor Anthony Perkins. He's got like the high cheekbones, the chiseled movie star good looks. Okay. He said, "Mom, I look great." Okay. And it's what's happening is he's morphing into the son as you remember him. Okay. There you go. If you took the beard away, you would have a very Anthony Perkins look to him. Perfect.
Yes,
okay.
I have others that are thinner. I mean, here he was a little bit swollen from steroids and stuff.
Okay, hold on, Rose. Hold on, and let me get the stuff, and then you can respond. Stand by.
Should have gotten on the shot.
What I'm hearing Italian. I'm hearing him. Did he speak Italian or have some knowledge of Italian?
He had knowledge. He was a writer and was very skilled with language. He could pick up a language really easy. So he learns pretty quickly through me. So yes, he could have spoken it if he wanted to.
Okay. What about you with the Italian language? Is there anything?
I used to speak it fluently. I just understand it now.
That's a yes. Hold on. That's a yes. If you speak it and you spoke it fluently, that's a yes. And he's talking about it because I'm hearing Italian, and he's talking about the dream trip to Venice. But I get a feeling that you have not yet had that dream trip to Venice.
We wanted to someday.
Yes. Well, he said, "You're still going to do it." And he goes, "Mom, you need to do this dream trip to Venice." And he said that when you're standing in St. Mark's Square, I will be there with you. Okay.
Wow.
He said, "I will be there with you." And he said, "But don't waste your money on the gondolas. They're all ripoffs."
That's something he would say.
But the thing is, let's see what else. What he's telling me about his cancer is this appears to be genetic. And he said that the way this came on with him, even though he put up a good fight and there was a lot of the treatments, he said it was so encoded in his DNA that his cells were deteriorating at a rapid rate and that the cancer was mutating by far more rapidly than the doctors could even conceive. And he said that you were absolutely fantastic being there. He said that when you would come and hold his hand and rub his forearm, and you'd always try to tell him stories to take his mind off of everything. He said, "Mom," he goes, "you're the best. You are the best." Absolutely.
Wow. Wait a minute. He said that all the time.
Yeah, well, he's still saying it. Okay, "Mom, you are the best." And he said for him, the most painful thing was not what he was going through, but seeing in your eyes what it was doing for you, to you, not for you, to you. And what he wants you to know, Rose, is that even though you put on the brave face and were always trying to cheer him up, he knew that you knew. It's funny. He knew he was going to die. You knew that he was going to die, but both of you weren't really saying that. And he said, we wouldn't have had it any other way. He said, because, you know, we're not glum people. Interesting choice of words.
Wow.
We're not glum people.
He had a T-shirt that had something. It's like a logo, I guess, but it had glum, not a glum lot on his, you know, in it. But yeah, he would use words like that.
Yeah. So when you had the T-shirt that said "not a glum," okay, very good. So he's transmitting all of these things to you. Do you have a little dog? He's talking about the little dog.
He had a dog. Yes, he had a dog.
Was it kind of about the size of a Jack Russell Terrier?
It was a pit bull terrier.
Oh, it was a terrier? Okay, because I'm getting a terrier, but I'm getting like a Jack Russell Terrier. Real bouncy, real hyper.
Yeah, interesting that you brought that up.
Well, the dog's on the other side, isn't it?
Yep, only.
Hold on. Yeah, so he's there with the dog because animals can come through too. Only human arrogance suggests that animals don't have souls, and so he's over there with the dog. And I don't know if the dog's name was Sparky, but he calls it Sparky. Sparky.
Oh. It has a K in it, but not Sparky, but his name, the dog's name is Duke. But he called him his little man, you know.
But I keep getting Sparky. I want you to think about the word Sparky because it could indicate something else.
There is something, but not about a dog.
Okay, hold on. Was Sparky?
Yeah, Sparkles. It had to do with something completely unrelated to a dog.
Right. What you have to realize, Rose, is this isn't texting or instant messaging, and they're hitting me with so many concepts. So the dog's there, and I'm hearing Sparky. And what's happening is we're both assuming, oh, he must be talking about the dog. But if there's Sparky or Sparkles, which relate to something else, that's what that is.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're moving at the speed of light, and you know they got to slow it down for us. Okay, what is it with the Sparky Sparkles?
Well, so I have a shelf over in that end of the house over there, right here, not too far from me. Where I have all his things. And on that shelf is sparkling water. And we used to call it Sparkles. And, yep, and it's Perrier water, but we called it Sparkles.
Right, sparkling water, right, yeah.
Yeah, and because he's my baby, so even though he's 39.
He'll always be your baby. Okay.
Yeah, so I used to talk like I say, want some more sparkles? I got some, or you know, things like that. It was that language between us.
Got it. Hold on. He's singing a song. This is like the most Catholic song ever. Hail, Holy Queen enthroned above, oh Maria. Okay. Now, that could indicate someone connected to you or him with a name like a variation on Mary, like Mary, Maria, Marilyn, Margaret, or it could be a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event within the month of May, because May is dedicated to Mary, the mother of Jesus. Does any of that make sense?
The way it makes sense is that when he got his diagnosis about 8 years ago, he became baptized in the Catholic Church, and he even got tattoos of Jesus. He loved Mary. He had, you know, pictures of that. He sang, so he's a singer-songwriter, so he would sing certain spiritual or religious type songs too. And then as far as what you say about May, I would have to think about that. See, because a lot of times it comes later, like when you'll bring something up.
Right. I call that the unfolding, because the reading's like a flower and it blooms, blossoms, and unfolds, and it can take hours, days, weeks, and even longer. Now, what's interesting, I'm just the conduit for the information, and so if I have one association or interpretation, but you have something different, we always go with the clients, yours over mine, because the reading's not about me, it's about you. And you see, I get that song, which makes me think of the month of May and Mary, the mother of Jesus, and then in variations of the name Mary. And you see the associations it brought with you, and just did. Go ahead.
He had surgery exactly a year ago, May 8th. That was the brain surgery to remove a very threatening tumor, and it saved his life. And he prayed a lot during that time. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
No, it has everything to do with it, because that's what's known as a multiple meaning message, which I write about in Evidence of Eternity, how one message has more than one level of significance. We use words all the time that have many different meanings. It's the same thing in energy transfer from spirits. He keeps showing me a lot of references to ancient history. Did he like history, ancient history?
Yeah.
He's showing me he showed me like the ancient Greeks. So what the soldiers, he said the hoplites, and I see them standing strong against the Persian army at the Battle of Thermopylae. Boy, he's pretty specific.
Well, he's very smart, has like a photographic memory, and you can have conversations with him for hours about history. And that would be one of them. He knows everything about it.
Yeah, he says it's really cool being over here because I get to talk to some of these people.
Wow.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. John. I know this is going to sound really, really weird. Okay, but I'm hearing John Lennon. So I don't know if he liked John Lennon, but I'm actually seeing John Lennon. Now I'm freaking out, okay, because he's actually standing next to John Lennon. Oh my God.
I'm not surprised. He liked all those musicians from my time more, like John Lennon, Bob Dylan. I'm not surprised. As a matter of fact, I kind of had, because he and I were very psychic with each other. And a lot of times when I talk to him throughout the day, which I do, I'll say to him, maybe you're meeting up with John Lennon or Bob Dylan or.
Well, hold on, Rose. He said, this is John Lennon talking. He goes, Rose, I have some popcorn, girl. What's with you and the popcorn?
Well, we went to the movies a lot and ate popcorn.
John Lennon, I mean, I know this sounds weird, but John Lennon is actually handing you popcorn, and your son thinks this is hilarious.
Well, of course. Yeah. I actually feel my son right here, right now, laughing.
Oh, without a doubt. I
do. And because our relationship was like that. He'd pick on me a lot. We'd tease each other, but he would do something like that. If I'm talking about something, he would joke like that, exactly like that.
Did somebody connected to you or him have a candy apple red Corvette? Okay, go ahead.
Wait, keep going, because just a lot of things are flashing through my mind.
Well, we could be moving on to another spirit. So if it makes sense with you, Rose, but it makes sense with someone else, I'm getting a candy apple red Corvette. And go ahead.
Well, he had a friend. There was a friend, a fellow cancer survivor, warrior, slightly older than him, and she was battling lung cancer for years, for 10 years. But she used to offer to come and pick him up in her red convertible. It was red, like that color. I don't know if it was a Corvette. It could have been, but maybe. That's the only thing I could think of right now.
Okay.
We have some other people who are taking this. Pam says her husband has a candy apple red Corvette.
Let me ask Pam, is her husband's hair either gray or white? Because whoever's communicating the candy apple red Corvette is showing me kind of a middle-aged guy with white hair.
My husband has a candy apple red Corvette and he has white hair. But I hope it's not me, because I'd love to have Morgan come through, but it's a 1960. Tammy has one. Her husband has a red Corvette as well. Does anybody else have white hair?
You know what's interesting? This is what I call collective consciousness communication. Remember earlier when I was discussing the collective consciousness, how spirits are part of like this universal, not light, they're part of a universal mind. And what happens in collective consciousness communication is several people come through in unison. and they're giving me the candy apple red Corvette, the middle-aged guy with the reddish, with the white grayish hair. And that's the commonality, which is targeting several different people. So if this message and what I'm conveying makes sense to more than one person, even if you don't get an individualized reading, it touches your heartstrings, take it. And here's what the message is. Whoever is the lead spokesperson for this collective keeps talking about liver. And I don't mean like eating liver and onions. I mean this person or the person they're communicating to here in this world has major issues with the liver. And I'm feeling a deterioration of the liver. It feels like cirrhosis. It could be a hepatitis. Does that make sense to anybody?
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
My son's father had liver disease, liver cancer. He had whitish hair. He had, and he passed away from that, from the liver disease. Yes, he was on a liver transplant list, but passed away anyway, 8 years ago. No, 12 years ago. But
okay, did he have a Corvette, red Corvette?
he had so many things. He could have had a motorcycle like that. He had
No. What it is, I'm specifically getting a candy apple red Corvette. So that could be an indicator that your son's with his dad, but it could be for somebody else,
Yeah.
or a couple other people as well. But go ahead and take the liver issue. And here we go. Middle-aged guy, the Corvette, and now they're talking about the galaxy. So whoever this is for has an interest in astronomy, not just astrology, but astronomy. Does that apply to anybody?
Does anybody, so we have Michelle who raised her hand. Michelle, Bill, and Jordan raised their hand about the red Corvette. Also, Tammy, any problems with liver or
let's go to the astronomy. Yeah, astronomy, space sciences, something like that.
And Pam as well. Anything for Pam here? Or is it, let's see. Tammy's saying maybe a spleen. Would it be possibly a spleen?
I want to focus more on the galaxy, the space sciences.
Okay, galaxy and space sciences. So this is for the husband who's interested.
Or the person here in the chat room may have an interest in that. Okay.
In astronomy. Okay. Anybody? So this would be not necessarily the husband who has the gray hair, but maybe the wife who might be here as well. Let's see.
You know what? Let's not strain. I'm going to ask those spirits to step aside, and if it makes sense to somebody else. Hold on. It says Michelle, Bill, and Jordan raised a hand. Let's see what they have to say.
Yeah. So I can bring them up if you'd like to.
Sure. Let me do that. Yeah.
Or you can, because you're a host as well. Let me see if I can. Oh, here we are. Okay. Ask to unmute. I'm unmuting you. Hopefully. Okay. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Okay, so the red Corvette, did the space sciences or astronomy make sense to you as well?
My mother had a red Corvette.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, any interest connected to you or someone close to you with astronomy? Because they keep talking about the galaxy. What about the word galaxy?
It's not sticking. My mom loved horoscopes, but nothing about a galaxy.
Stand by. Did your mom die of heart failure?
No.
Okay, and the reason I'm saying this is because the woman that's coming through associated with you, I'm feeling my left chest, and I'm feeling numbness running down the whole left side of my body. That could be a right brain stroke, will affect the left side of the body, but it could also be a heart attack as well. What did she pass from?
She had dementia.
This isn't her. I'm sorry, this isn't for you. But I appreciate you raising your hand.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me ask these spirits to step aside. I want to try to get to some of the kids because I know that's who everybody wants to talk to. Oh, I'm getting a younger male coming through, male, and I'm feeling a clamping around my throat. Okay, and I feel a strangulation. This feels like he died by suicide. This does feel like hanging, and I am getting that sensation. He also wants you to know, the recipient to know, that it was like that. It was instantaneous. It's like, not so much, it's yes, strangulation, but I'm also feeling like my neck snapping. Does that make sense to anybody?
Yes, Lindsay's saying their son. Also, Peggy is saying her son, and Sharon Martin has also raised her hand. So we have 3 sons who, and then Natasha says that her son passed this way, but not on purpose. So I guess it wasn't suicide.
No, this one is suicide.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, Kathy McManus as well. I'm sorry. So we have 4 people so far.
Okay. All right. Hold on, Elizabeth. Hold on. Sorry. Does any one of these people, the takers, have issues with diabetes?
Diabetes, anyone? Did anyone?
Diabetes, blood sugar issues.
Maybe you could type it in the chat box. Okay, Kathy, no. Peggy, no. Let's see. How about Sharon? Could you type in there? Lindsay says no.
Well, hold on. With the diabetes, you got to be careful with what I call the no syndrome. Diabetes could be an issue connected to the person who passed, or to you or someone close to you, because I'm getting a whole issue with diabetes that this young man's bringing up. And what this could also indicate is that one of you may have an issue with diabetes that you haven't had diagnosed yet, because now what he's transmitting to me is something about the month of October, because I'm seeing a beautiful opal. Opal is the birthstone for the month of October. And what that could indicate is significant births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you, this young man, or someone close to you or the young man within the month of October.
So Lindsay's saying that her other son has diabetes. So
aha, there we go. Other son has diabetes. Now, Lindsay, is there anything within the month of October, births, deaths, anniversaries, or events, doesn't necessarily have to be connected to your son on the other side, but to you or someone close to you? Or is there something about an opal or a piece of jewelry with an opal in it?
she's saying not October. Oh, favorite holiday is Halloween. I'm not
Which
sure.
is in what month now? Right, October. Woo-hoo! Okay, so this is for Lindsay. Let's bring Lindsay up.
Okay, Lindsay, let me find you. Okay, I got you. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute. Can you unmute? And then I'm going to go ahead and pin you as well so that Mark can see you. There we go. Hi, Lindsay. So we've got her. Do you see her, Mark?
Not at all, no.
Oh, that's strange. Can you say something, Lindsay, so that he can hear you?
Yeah, Lindsay,
Yes.
if you talk, you'll come up. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right, can't see it, but that's fine. Let me see what I'm getting. So your son on the other side died by his own hand through hanging, and your other son who's in this world, he's the one with the diabetes, okay?
Yes.
All right, so let me see where he's going with this. He said that your son here in this world is cheating on his diet, and I keep tasting almond joy. Okay, with coconut, almonds, and chocolate. Tastes good, but not good for him. And I'm getting the sense that he's type 1 diabetes. Is he a type 1 diabetic?
I'm sorry, I really am not sure.
All right, type 1 diabetic means they need insulin, whereas type 2 diabetes they can control with some mild medication and diet.
No, type 2 then, I suppose.
Okay.
He's been doing keto, trying to lose weight. He's very obese.
Okay, the reason I'm getting type 1 diabetes is he is either type 1 or headed right for it, okay? And even if he's doing the keto, I'm getting there's some type of cheating there that he's
I'm
got to
sure.
eradicate right away. Now, he keeps giving me coconut. And the interesting thing about coconut, does coconut make sense to you in any way? Love it, hate it, make sense in any way? Because I am just resonating with coconut.
I can't think off the top of my head. Mikey's favorite cake was my son in heaven. His favorite cake was white icing with coconut.
Bingo. There we go. See, now let me explain. When a spirit gives me a message of an explanatory or advisory nature, he's talking about your son here in this world, and that there's something going on. Yes, he's trying the keto diet, but it's not working right. There's some cheating, and that he's on the verge of going from type 2 to type 1 diabetes. And all right, so that's the advice and explanation. But then when the spirit immediately follows it up with an objectively verifiable fact, coconut, and his favorite cake had coconut icing, that verifiable fact is how the spirit is letting you and I know that we've properly received and interpreted the message. So for all of you, if I go verifiable fact on the message, we know we got it. Now he's zeroing in on the month of February.
That's when Mikey was born.
Okay, Mikey is the son
In heaven.
In heaven. Okay, and there's yet another verifiable fact following the message. So he's very concerned about his brother here, but he doesn't want you to panic. He said that he'll get a handle on it, but he needs more help and guidance, and not from you, but from a doctor. Okay. A doctor, and not just, pumping him full of drugs, but also on the proper way to eat. Certainly it's the diabetes, which is causing the weight, but there's something also about him in the way that his body processes carbohydrates. Not unusual with a diabetic, but he said that there's something atypical about the way your son here handles carbohydrates. So that's why he needs more focus, not just with diet, but also with medicine here. Now, he is explaining to me the circumstances surrounding his passing. And what I'm getting is on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. He's telling me how he was struggling with mood stability his entire life. This feels very much like when I communicate with people who had been bipolar. That's what this feels like. Okay.
Yes.
And he said that, Mom, I'm really sorry. He goes, I know you understand, but you have to forgive me. Okay.
I do.
Okay. So good. So he's like, he's very dramatic about how he's putting this forward. And he said, and I'm fine here. He said, all of that has stopped because my brain is what caused me to be bipolar, and I'm free of that now. And the interesting thing is, it seems like he was really making that good old college try, the good old effort to deal with the bipolar. He was taking his meds. He was doing everything that he was supposed to. He said, though, but it intensified all of a sudden. He said it was like, when you see like an avalanche, he said all of a sudden his moods are like an avalanche. And the indication that I'm getting from him is that his body had developed a resistance to the medication and that it was no longer effective. And he said nobody really could have seen this coming. Nobody really could have seen this coming. And he said that he was so immersed in this depression that he was only thinking of himself. Now, by saying that, that doesn't mean that he was selfish. It is because of the depression, he did not have the capability to be thinking about you or his brother or anybody else. He said, I understand this now. He said, but I just could not free myself from it. So that's why he's apologizing to you. And he's handing you a cup of rainbow sherbet. That's interesting.
I don't know.
Well, hold on. Do you like lemon ice or sherbet, anything like that? And does the image of a rainbow, and then everybody likes rainbows. Did you ever see anyone go, oh, look at ugly rainbow? All right, everybody likes rainbows, okay? But he's talking about the image of a rainbow. Does that have any significance to you?
Not off the top of my head.
It's going to at some point.
Okay.
No, he won't stop eating the rainbow sherbet. There's got to be something there.
Well, he liked orange sherbet. I mean, growing up, the kids liked orange sherbet.
Yeah, well, I mean, kids and sherbet and ice cream,
I know.
kind of,
I know.
But
Right.
he's handing you specifically the image of it's like a rainbow coming out of the sherbet. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And if you hadn't said his name, Mikey, I would have gotten it now because I just got Michael. But I can't take credit because you had already said it. So
Yeah.
I have to put that in the can't take credit for pile. Okay, so let's see what else he wants you to know. Oh, he could be hysterically funny.
Yes.
Oh my God, he just sang me a dirty little song that I don't think I want to repeat to a bunch of mothers. And it's funny though. It's really funny. Okay. But I'll tell you what, he never took grief from anybody. If somebody was giving him a hard time, he'd turn and go, why don't you bite my, you can fill in the blank. All right. And he said that you raised him to be self-reliant, courageous, self-confident. He wants to explain how you really guided him. He said, my whole life, I felt like I was swimming through an ocean filled with sharks, but my mom was the guiding light. I'm going to start crying now. This one's really touching. And he showed me an image of St. Joseph. Now, St. Joseph, the carpenter, I was raised Catholic. I was going to be a Catholic priest, so I get a lot of Catholic imagery, and I'm not advancing that religion on anybody, but the images of certain saints carry with them particular significance. What this could indicate is someone close to you or him with a J name, like a Joseph, Jim, Jack, Jeff, John. But what it usually indicates is somebody who's buying or selling a piece of real estate, or possibly you're getting some like carpentry or remodeling done. So it could be connected to you. Is there anything going on with you where that would be an indicator?
We just built a new house.
Bingo. Okay, so.
And my contractor's name is Jeremy.
Ooh, okay, we got a twofer on that one. So what he's letting you know, Lindsay, is that he's aware that you had this house built and that he's around and aware of what's happening. And he goes, I promise, Mom, I won't haunt you. And he's laughing about that, okay? What's with the bow ties? He's got this bow tie. He's doing this thing with a bow tie. No, this is some kind of joke. Were you dating some guy or with some guy that likes bow ties? He's saying something with a bow tie.
No.
Okay, well, when you think of a bow tie, what comes to mind?
Okay.
When you think of a bow tie, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind? Oh my goodness. Bow Tie Tuesday on our local news channel.
Well, hold on. What's Bow Tie Tuesday on the news?
It's just the news broadcasters wear bow ties on Tuesdays. That's the only thing I can think of with a bow tie.
Well, we go with your association over mine, and I've never heard of Bow Tie Tuesday, so I'm kind of thinking, it's so funny. It's like, people go, oh, you Googled people. Well, that would assume, first off, that I knew everybody that was going to be in here, Googled everything about you and remembered it, and had the wherewithal to find out if, I wonder if Lindsay has a Bow Tie Tuesday on her local news station. So let's take that to mean that he's around you and aware of what's happening. But he is showing me the day of the week, Wednesday. Now, there could be a particular Wednesday that stands out. For example, my father passed on a Saturday. That's a Saturday I'll never forget. Is there a significant Wednesday in your life?
My goodness, I would have to think. I'm at a loss, possibly, but I'm at a loss.
Okay, hold on. Somebody wrote, I so wish my son would come Wednesday.
Let me just tell you that Sharon, who also has her son who died by hanging, or passed by hanging, is saying that, first of all, the rainbow sherbet means something to her, as well as
Let's go to her. Let's go to her.
As well as the
Thank you.
Right. Let's go to her. Thank you, Lindsay, because this is what I call collective consciousness communication.
Yes.
And what's happening is we're arcing from Lindsay over to, who are we arcing to?
To Sharon.
Sharon, okay, yeah, let's go ahead.
Sharon first, very quickly. I didn't see Sharon on the first page. It's funny because we've got a lot of pages here. Can you raise your hand? Oh, here, I got you, Sharon.
It's hard doing that, Elizabeth, isn't it?
Yes, it's a little hard. So I'm asking you to unmute. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and pin you. There you go. Hi, Sharon. Say something.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Okay, Sharon. All right. So you have a son on the other side who passed through hangings. I'm very sorry for your loss. Orange sherbet makes sense. And then what was the other thing?
Rainbow sherbet.
Rainbow sherbet.
Well, rainbows
his first birthday, when he was not here, he sent me, I live in Michigan, and on his birthday, I was coming back from getting him his balloon and cake, or well, I made him a cake, but anyway, and double rainbow in March in Michigan is not very rare. So whenever I
Right,
see the
so the
rainbow,
rainbow, the sherbet, and Wednesday. In what way Wednesday?
Wednesday, that's the day he left us.
Okay, so hold
And then
on.
there was something else I think.
Hold on, Sharon. Hold right there. First off, I don't mean to cut you off, but let me get him while he's giving me the stuff. Okay. Snakes, I hate snakes. Snakes, I hate snakes. He keeps repeating that. Did he like Indiana Jones or something?
Well, when he was a kid, he liked that stuff, but nothing
No,
that.
no, look, most people don't like, I always thought people had, snakes for pets were kind of creepy.
Now snakes.
But snakes, go ahead.
He's saying he doesn't like snakes.
I'm hearing snakes. I hate
Oh,
snakes.
well, I enjoyed them. I had a big yellow, ginormous one draped around my neck, with a picture he was here then. So that could be, he's talking about me with snakes.
Okay, could be with you. And then, I see Peggy talking about something. All right, Peggy, we're getting to you next. This is collective consciousness communication. We're going to be arcing to people. So let's talk to you, Sharon. Let's get your son in here. All right, hold on. Stand by. Interesting. He's talking about your spine and your spinal health. Do you do something where you either get your spine adjusted or yoga or something where you do spinal stretching? Because I feel like I'm all like, woohoo, spinal stretching.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Chiropractor, before he left us, I started trying that.
Okay.
Oh,
so
spinal.
That was before he left. Are you doing it since then?
No.
And
with
should
with
we
him
be?
with all that happened and then the corona, I just never went back.
Okay, so what he's talking about is see, I feel like I have to sit up straight now. He's making me sit up straight, watch my posture. So what he's doing is, spirits oftentimes give me a lot of medical information about the people that I'm doing the reading for, and he's talking about your spinal health, and there seems to be particular emphasis in the thoracic region between T8, 9, 10, and 11. So that would be kind of your mid-back, okay?
Okay.
So he's zeroing in on that, and he's saying that you do need to get this treated because what's happening is in your grief and the stress, that's where it really starts to ache and get you. And what's with you in, it could be yogurt, but it tastes like sour cream. Could be Greek yogurt, but it could be sour cream.
No, I love sour cream. I'll just eat it off the spoon.
Verifiable fact following the message. Remember how that one works? So boom. So you have to get this taken care of.
The other one you said, Mark, was bow tie. That was a big click for me.
Okay. All right. What was with the bow tie with him? But hold on, before we get into the bow ties. Okay. See, Sharon, your son's not letting you off the hook on your chiropractic treatment, and you're trying to sidestep around it because you don't want to go. And that's why he gave me the sour cream verifiable fact following the message, because he said that I love my mom so much. She was my best friend, and we used to crack up. And the two of you used to like jab each other like with the things. He goes, so tell her I'm not putting up with this. She's got to get her to the chiropractor. You can fill in the blanks there.
All right.
All right, Sharon, back to you with the bow ties.
Okay. Well, he was in theater in high school, and he sang Mr. Cellophane from Chicago, and he had that big bow tie because he was dressed up as that Amos Hart, and that picture is just always in my head, and It was the best one he ever did. So that when you said bow tie, I was like, because not many people wear them anymore.
Was he having some type of panic attack, tremors, or something where his body was shaking a lot, like from stress prior to his passing? And the reason that I'm saying this, Sharon, is he's now talking about the events leading up to his death, and I get like shaking. It's almost like a sheer terror of what was going on with him emotionally.
Yeah, probably.
And my hand's hurting real bad too. But do you know if he was having any shooting pains, carpal tunnel type pains in his hand or his wrist, or is that you? This really hurts.
Well, I had carpal tunnel surgery done a long time ago, but he remembers that.
hold on. Spirits are not limited to who or what they knew when they were here in this world, because as part of the collective consciousness, they're patched into a universal database. So that's a verifiable fact following a message. Okay, so he wants you to know that there was some type of panic attack, frenetic
Yeah.
stress prior to his passing.
Yeah, well, he suffered from bipolar, so
Yeah, so he
there
would
was
go
things
to,
going
okay.
on that week. Yeah.
Okay, well, very good. Hold on. We got to get to Pam now. So now we're arcing
Thank
over
you,
to
Mark.
her. Thank you. God bless you. All right, Pam.
I think it's Peggy. Are you talking?
Peggy, sorry. You know what it is? I saw it out of the corner because it's, you see how the bow ties, the Indiana Jones, the snakes, this is collective consciousness communication where we're arcing to people because we have a collective of spirits that are young men who died by suicide that have a commonality. And what's the commonality? How they passed and who they want to talk to.
So we have our pin, so you need to say something.
Hi, I'm Peggy. What's really weird is you called me Pam, which is my dead sister's name.
Okay.
That's
Son's
really
brought
weird.
with him. All right, Pam. All right. Did Pam pass like abruptly, unexpectedly? Because
Yes.
yeah, I'm getting. I know I go through this, but it's what they do to me. I feel like electrical shock went right through my body, and she wants you to know that it was quick. She goes, it hurt like hell for about 6 seconds. She said, but it was quick. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now back to your son. He just handed me a chocolate chip ice cream cone on a sugar cone. What's up with
my son did?
Yeah. Or does that make sense to you in any way?
Mint chocolate chip, yes.
Close enough. Okay, so let's see what he has to say. He goes, oh, hi, Mom. He said, good to see you, except I see you every day. And you see me in your dreams. He comes to you in your dreams.
Yes.
So he wants you to know that you suspect that it's real contact. He's validating for you right now that it is.
Okay.
And it's fascinating because what he's telling me about these dreams that you have, it's like you're walking along like sort of a corridor, but there's not really walls. And then you walk into this bigger space and it's sort of almost dark and ethereal. And there he is. And then it's like this place, I don't know, maybe you sit at a table or something with him that is created. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, what he's telling you is that what he's doing is he's aligning his frequency with your brainwave frequency, and he's communicating with you. So he's creating a point of reference. It's a construct, so you guys can sit and talk, okay? And he keeps saying the monkey is, there's got to be a story about a monkey because he's showing me a monkey. And it could even be like a stuffed toy monkey, but he's talking about, remember Curious George, the monkey?
Yeah. Well, him and his sister had matching monkeys, little.
Ba-boom. Verifiable fact following the message. The monkey is the verifiable fact, which is following the message that he is creating a construct for you so that you can have direct contact with him in the dream state. He's also saying that Mom's really good about figuring out all the clues. And he says, and I'm making them more complicated because I want to like shake it up a bit. And he now showed me an image of a lion. And a lion could be like, maybe he likes images of lions, but that could be an indicator for the Leo time frame. And actually, we just went into Leo. Leo runs roughly from July 22nd to August 22nd. So, are there any births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you or him or someone close to you, within Leo? It can also be a male L name, like a Leo, Leon, Larry, something like that.
Trying to think. I can't think of something directly for that.
When you think of the image of a lion, what comes to mind for you?
Probably The Lion King, the movie Lion King.
Okay, reason being?
Yeah, because he wasn't a Leo, so yeah, for a lion, I mean, it would just be the movie from Disney.
Okay, did he like that movie or something?
Did he what?
Did he like that particular movie?
Yeah, he did, but yeah, he's a Disney fanatic.
Okay, so it could be something about that, because remember, your interpretation is more important than mine. That's what I'm saying. There's got to be something aligning. Let's see what he wants you to know. Oh, now he's throwing the bow ties at me again. And hold on.
Yeah. I
Was he
sent
a
out a
good
collection
swimmer?
of guys.
Was he a good swimmer? And the reason I'm saying this is I feel like I'm swimming underwater and holding my breath, and then coming up and going back underwater, and holding my breath.
He was an average swimmer, but he liked going. We had a boat, so that was his favorite thing, was going out on the boat and then
Okay.
going in the water.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. And the one thing he said he couldn't abide by was cold. Couldn't stand cold. Now, a lot of people don't like cold, but he's really going on about cold.
Yeah, he doesn't like cold. He didn't.
Well, let's get a message for you. What does he want Mom to know?
What happened? What does that mean?
Sunshine. You are my sunshine. You are my sunshine.
For the whole week?
Yeah, they didn't.
The song?
He keeps talking about sunshine. He keeps repeating the word sunshine.
Trying to think of anything specific.
Are you getting enough time outside? Are you spending enough time outside and getting sunshine?
Probably not enough, but yeah, a little bit.
That sounds all right. Look, I'm a lawyer, I'm Catholic, and I'm Italian. I know guilt when I see it.
Yeah.
What he's telling me, Peggy, is the sunshine is an indicator that you're not getting enough vitamin D into your body.
Okay.
And the easiest way to get it is sun. And that doesn't mean you have to lay out there and fry. You could go out for 10 minutes. You could also take supplements, but he said for you, it's more important for the sun and the sunshine. But there's more to it than just physical. This is an emotional, mental, and a spiritual. It's the light. In other words, even though you're in a place where it may be light, you're immersed in the darkness of depression. And that the reason he reaches out to you in your dreams is because he knows this and he wants you to feel the light again. Okay? So he is certainly sensitive to the plight that you're going through. And the circumstances leading up to his death, I keep tasting a bitter sensation in my mouth, which I normally associate with drugs. So did he have a history of drug usage?
No, he didn't.
Okay, keep getting, well, was he on some type of medication?
He had just started, before he passed, he'd only been on meds for 6 days.
Okay, when I get a metallic taste in my mouth, that means medication. It could be legal or otherwise. He said it was too little, too late. It was too little, too late.
Oh, I know that, yeah.
Well, I don't, but that's what he's saying. And so, and what I mean by that, I don't mean it like, oh, well, I don't. What he's telling me is it was too little, too late. So you know that, and he's validating that. But what he's also saying, though, Peggy, it was too little, too late. And he said it never would have been enough, and it never would have been in time. And I have a feeling, I know what he's telling me is that his condition was beyond medication. It wasn't going to work anyway. He wants you to know that. What's with the elevator? Does somebody have an issue with elevators? He's talking about elevators.
I don't know if he had quite a few phobias, like balloons and things, just funny ones, but the elevators, I don't think he had.
Well, was claustrophobia one of them?
Kind of, yeah. It was more like balloons. He didn't like zippers. He had all these weird things he wouldn't do.
What about you in elevators?
Sensitive.
What about you in elevators?
I can't think of anything specifically with elevators. I do know for the Indiana Jones, that was his favorite ride and his favorite movies.
Okay, so we got that. Yeah, there's something about elevator. Well, let's look at it in a metaphorical way. What does an elevator do? You can go down, or you can go up. And were these medications designed to elevate his moods?
Right.
Exactly. And he said it didn't work. Okay. So let's take the mechanical out of it and look at it in the explanatory metaphorical sense that these medications, although designed to elevate his moods, were never going to be effective. And he wants you to know that. And
Okay.
he said, tell my mom she deserves a blue ribbon for being the best mom ever. You know, he loves you very much.
Oh,
And he
thank
knows that you understand all this. He said, you tried everything. He says, you tried everything.
Right.
And what's with
That's
kitty?
super.
Kitty. Is there something about a kitty cat? Because I'm getting kitty.
Well, there's a kitty. My mom's cat's name was Kitty, but she died. I mean, so she would be with them, I guess.
There you go. I mean, if I'm getting kitty and it's related to a cat and your mom's cat's on the other side, boom. So we've had a cat and a dog come through
Yeah.
tonight. All right. I will leave that with you, Peggy, and I'm sorry for your loss. God
Okay,
bless
thank you so much.
Mark, can I quickly just let you know that Kathy McManus has a bunch of things that we're piggybacking with everything that you were saying.
Sure.
Her son, one of her sons died by hanging, and the other one died. He passed from drugs that he had taken before, and he's a Leo as well. And there are other things that she was saying. So there was a bunch of information that she was taking. I know Lindsay was also taking more information as well. These kids are all piggybacking on each other.
Well, let me explain what's happening. And Elizabeth, I think you're definitely on the right path there. You got to realize the collective consciousness. In Evidence of Eternity, I wrote a book called Collective Consciousness Disconnect. We have a group of young men who disconnected. The commonality between them was that they died from suicide. And the other commonality is that they want to talk to their parents here. And so they come in as a group and their frequencies are overlapping, which is why the message, even though I was talking to like Peggy's or Lindsay's son, the messages were also resonating with other people. And that's the nature of spirit communication, because think of them as their pure energy, and think of me as a radio, and I'm tuned into station 101.9 on the FM dial. Well, they're hitting me with the entire FM radio band. And so that's why a lot of the messages related to the people who died in a similar fashion are overlapping with other people, because that is intentional from the other side. And that is their way of getting to as many of you as possible. So even if you didn't get a personalized reading through me, but something came through which sparked a memory or touched a heartstring, that's exactly what was supposed to happen. So I think I'll hold position here on the readings, and people have any questions in the chat room, and I guess we can wrap it up.
Well, I just want to say thank you. This has been amazing and so much evidence. And I also know that all of our kids are together. They're helping each other to get through to their parents. And, you know, it is kind of hard to learn that on the other side, for them to be able to communicate with us. So I know that they do it collectively and help each other out, just the same way that we all get together collectively and help each other out to communicate with them. And I feel so grateful that you were willing to come and do this for us. And I know that you do so many other amazing things to help parents, to help the collective consciousness as well. I know that you had just done an event called No One is Born a Bigot, which I think is such an important event, and it was on a radio show recently. Is it something that you have a link for that people will be able to listen to?
Yes, I believe it's been released as a podcast. It's on a show called The Mallard Report, MALLIARD. And a friend of mine who's a spiritual minister, Reverend Anthony Profeta, and I, we do inspirational Zoom and internet events, because with all the tension going on in our country right now as an outgrowth of COVID and the racial tension, we felt it was very important to explain that no one is born a bigot. These are learned behaviors. And, you know, you're all parents. Look at kids. If you put a bunch of little kids, toddlers, together, it doesn't matter what their ethnicity or religion or whatever, kids will play with each other, okay? it's, you know, through society and other factors that people learn prejudice, and we all have it to some extent. And the technique that I was introducing, I call it R, like a pirate, ARRR, that if you start to think something of a prejudiced nature or see somebody who's different from you in some way, and you prejudge them, you acknowledge that you're having that thought, you recognize that it is a negative thought, and then replace that thought with a neutral one. Like, I can't judge that person. I'm not saying run around and sing Kumbaya and hug everybody, but it's about deprogramming ourselves from prejudging people who are different. And, you know, people say to me, well, what do you know about prejudice? You know, you're a white guy, you're a lawyer. Well, I explained how when I was in Japan, and I'm a pretty big guy. I mean, I'm almost 6'2", and I'd be walking down the street in Tokyo, and women would clutch their purses when I walked by. And I could see the look of fear because, you know, I was towering above these people. And I walked into this store one time because they had Japanese books that were translated into English. And I picked something up, and I was turning around to go out, and this guy was walking in, and he looked up at me in sheer horror. He was like shaking. You know, because here's big gaijin, that's their word for outsider. If they call you gaijin-san, that's nice. If they call you gaijin, that's like the N-word. And I stood aside and I said, konnichiwa, and I bowed to him and I yielded to him, and I saw this look of relief. And when I got back to the States, I was telling a friend of mine who's African-American, his name is Mark too. He goes, well, now you know what it's like. He goes, Mark, that happens to us all the time. I walk down the street, people clutch, you know, women clutch their purses, people are afraid of us. And it's like, and I'm looking at my friend because he's the nicest guy in the world, because we tend to, without necessarily meaning to, prejudge other people. And so that's what we were talking about, particularly in the wake of what happened with George Floyd. And also, you know, civil rights icon John Lewis dying, I guess last week, and we're honoring him now. His body's in state, and he's going to be laid to rest shortly. And you know, when you think about it, what you're doing with helping parents heal is dealing with a form of prejudice. I mean, how many people there whose children have died from suicide, you know, people, you know, they get awkward around you, they don't know what to say, where then people say terrible things like, well, people who go to suicide, this is what happens to them. And I've known so many people who've lost a child, and all of a sudden their friends sort of melt away because other parents are uncomfortable around you. And you have formed a collective, and you have formed a support group in a way to start removing the stigma from children who've died from suicide or from being a parent who's lost a child. And it makes me think of the words, you know, of John Lewis about changing things. And I love what he said, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? And that's exactly what Helping Parents Heal is doing. So thank you for this honor. God bless you.
Mark, that's such a beautiful thing to say, and I feel so honored. And I just want to say that this has nothing to do with me, with Irene, or with Kathy, or with Doris, or any of the other people who are involved in Helping Parents Heal. This is our kids who are doing this. They are the ones that are pushing us forward and making sure that we understand this. And I feel them all the time. I feel them right now when you were speaking. It's just incredible how they come together and make sure that we are able to move forward and heal, but also get that message out that we can heal and that no one ever dies, that love
no one ever dies
forever, and all of our kids are still right here. So I truly appreciate you being one of those huge messengers that has such a huge voice in this community and with everyone, with the everyday person in the United States who hasn't necessarily had a child pass, but who wants to learn more about the afterlife. And thank you for doing that. And I'm going to make sure that I post that link. People are asking for it. So many people are thanking you in the chat box. They are all so grateful for everything that you've done tonight. This has just been amazing. And I want to just tell you that you are, that the last time you came, this time having you here, it just brings hope to so many people. And thank you. And
My pleasure.
we will definitely, hopefully have you back again. But in the meantime, we're going to let everybody unmute themselves and say goodbye and thank you. Although I need to do that in the security. Sorry, this is so funny because now I have to. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourselves. Can you guys do that? Let's see if you can. Can
Thank
you
you,
unmute?
Mark. Thanks so much.
Okay, only, let's
Thank you.
see. Here we go. There we go. You should be able to now. Let's see if you can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you,
Elizabeth.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Mark.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Mark.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you
so
all.
much.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
All right.
Gracias, Marco Antonio.
All right. God bless you. Have a beautiful night.